Elon Musk says he wants to colonize Mars, I don't see that as a practical reality.
SpaceX has 9,000 satellites.
Yeah.
SpaceX has in the 10 or 15 years that they started. And
One is when DeepSeek suddenly it could do with very less money as compared to ChatGPT and OpenAI, the US markets had tanked by 15% that day. If all these AI tools are trained on the same data, then where is the differentiator? 20% of world's AI engineers are from India.
what currently like Elon says and delivers, there are definitely some things that he delivered. Uh, it would not have been possible without him delivering like 88 days to Australia on power, but at the same time, like um, on the economic side of Tesla, you can have a slightly higher range that you don't need to charge, but they don't do that because they want the superchargers making money as well. Because Lucid made a car, I think almost 600 miles, but it was too expensive for people. And not just,
Exactly, when
yeah,
Elon Musk says he wants to colonize Mars, I don't see that as a practical reality. But it is a great statement to excite a large number of people. Uh, Make them into dreamers, and then
yeah,
he's achieving as well, like the SpaceX rockets and
yeah,
uh,
definitely. Like SpaceX has the most number of satellites currently in space compared to any other
yeah,
company. I think
awesome.
there are 9,000 satellites
Yeah,
SpaceX has in the span
correct.
of almost 10 or 15 years that they started, and which is a great achievement because reusable rockets were needed on they were on the books, but at the same time no one did. And that was one of the greatest achievements because um, once what is this? Rocket engines land, sorry, remove from the booster, they basically have the separation and fall into ocean, which is basically zero versus like
Yeah.
it's still something. So
That was amazing. That the day the whole thing came down and went into a hook.
yeah, the
Yeah,
spaghetti
it was
catch.
awesome. Like
Yeah,
it was such a thing. Like I'm 100% sure his SpaceX valuation would have gone up by $200 billion that day.
yeah. It is. I
Because
think.
and I heard that the guy who planned it out, the head of that team, was an Indian. Like yeah,
I think like the which is possible, but also very challenging. If that is done frequently, successful, then like um, launching satellites would be a lot easier because you don't have to again transport these um, engines or
yeah,
like separated boosters uh,
correct.
back. And definitely, I think there will be more future success towards that. And wish, and there's one more company that started doing reusable, I think, called Rocket Lab, and
Mm.
they're also on federal contracts, but it is astonishing. They're also like accelerating their development. And I think last year they had 60, sorry, uh, towards last year starting, they had 60 launches or something. Now they have done successfully 83rd launch. So monthly 2 launches, which is interesting.
Makes a
And
lot of difference. Like
yeah,
uh, there is something about rockets which fascinates humanity, right? I mean,
yeah,
because you are exploring the unknown, and
yeah,
it is the highest point of technology where so many technologies work in tandem to achieve a rocket launch. And I
yeah,
remember when India had sent the rover to the moon. It was such a proud moment, and everybody
yeah,
felt energized, and and technology takes center stage in those moments, and
yeah,
people start um, saying that yes, we should invest more in technology, produce more technology,
I
and
agree.
yeah, these
In
kind
nine,
of
sorry.
achievements are like, they are very, very energizing for the entire uh,
Yeah.
technology community, and as well as for the country as well.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, I feel fascinated in 1969 when we barely had mobile phones. We went to, we barely had any phones. We went to space and came back with, I met a guy that who basically made those IBM systems at that point of time,
Oh, wow.
working. So I was astonished, and at the same time, like, he was selling like how reliable they are. And it is interesting to think of on reliable standpoint and where Voyager 1 is and what our next space missions are. I also think in contrast, like in 12th century or something, people used to travel in ships for exploring in the world. And this is like 21st century version of that, but in a more,
But Revant, one thing, like, since we are talking about the whole technology theme here,
yeah,
somehow, like, I have seen the dot-com thing, 1988, 1999. I have seen 2008 boom years,
yeah,
2006 to 7, 8. And then I've seen how Google, and they became trillion-dollar companies, and Microsoft after Satya Nadella, and like I've been witnessing this entire thing, but somehow in the AI theme,
yeah,
I'm pretty convinced about the AI case, especially after Claude, proved that they can do a lot of sophisticated things with their latest version. But
yeah,
still, the kind of money which goes into data centers and setting up the whole, you yourself said trillions of dollars.
yeah,
I don't kind of get the good feeling this time about this kind of investment, because I think, ultimately the customer has to pay for it. So
yes,
whether there will be sufficient business to recoup this money, uh,
yeah,
that's a question mark.
definitely. Because like they're doing several models at this point, and each model takes different number of credits. When power consumption is reduced, I believe that like there should be less investment be able to make on operational costs. So when operational costs are reduced, um, and even if we maintain the same innovation pace, currently the monetization is happening through two ways: subscription and tokenization. And
No, but
having,
just your views on this. Two
yeah,
things which I observed about the AI thing.
yeah,
One is when DeepSeek suddenly showed what it could do with very less money as compared to ChatGPT and OpenAI, the kind of money which OpenAI was burning.
yeah,
It did set a very, the markets had tanked by 15% that day, the US
yeah,
markets. So, definitely there has to be a way of uh, doing the same thing with less money. And
yeah, definitely.
secondly, the revenue numbers which uh, all these AI companies are showing, achieving, Perplexity, Grok, and Claude, and others. Although it is good, the revenue is good, but still, somehow it is not looking so promising. And thirdly, if all these AI tools
Mm.
are trained on the same data, then where is the
Mhm.
differentiator?
Yeah,
End of the day, where is the differentiator? Where is that additional data, proprietary data or otherwise, which makes them different from others? So
yeah,
these things are my concerns.
definitely. Data is a huge concern at this point where everyone feels kind of ex- exposed. And also like all this, have you seen recently someone used Claude to hack into an entire country records, and he basically said, "I'm doing this to check if there are any vulnerables in the system." But at the same time, like he's not a government personnel to do that. But doing that kind of shows like how AIs can be vulnerable as well. I think that's when like quantum computing, quantum encryption comes into the picture, and it is still not there yet, but I think
But
it will
for
be.
the tech guy, tell me something. Quantum computing has been around since so many years. Why hasn't it made a case for itself till date?
I see that there is innovation, but there should be more materials that would um, break the barriers of physics, and that's when quantum
What's the
computing.
problem around commercialization of quantum AI? It might
So
be residing in the labs and research departments more.
So what I came to know when I started studying quantum related is experimental quantum needs 1 million qubits, so that it gives you 1,000 logical qubits. So what this 1,000 logical qubits are, they are error free, noise free, and basically they can do any computation. So having that gives you an ideal quantum computer, and you can do 2 power 1,000. You can do actually 2 power 1,000,000, but uh, let's just stick to logical qubit computation. Then what happens with probability? So, like with respect to currently, quantum experimentation is done by, hey, I'm giving you 1,000 shots. So you're repeating the experiment 1,000 times or 2,000 times and giving me outcome. Like the probability, it will show the probability of the outcome. And when there is noise and everything, like, oh, this is this like noise errors, so then your probability gets messed up. And if you don't address that, your
So
computation
it's not
will be
perfect.
mistakes.
It's not ripe for commercialization for people to use it. It must be very costly for not to bring it to regular people, right? Customers.
Yeah, definitely. But at the same time, I think it will be there at some point in next five
Yeah, there's a
to
lot of interest. Yeah.
yeah. And I was also building something in the background on quantum encryption because like I was that guy that who did not do PhD and still likes quantum physics. And nowadays you can make encryption out of it a little bit. Like they're called post quantum algorithms. So even like quantum computers cannot break. So that is interesting.
Yeah. And
And
the thing about US, like it has always maintained the lead in technology, even till
yeah.
today. Like, but some places China has come out. Like I was seeing those dancing robots in China, which were like simply awesome. Like, but in most of the critical technologies, I think US still has a lead, and uh,
Mm,
and the US universities are basically behind it. Or maybe it is these trillion-dollar companies who invest so much in research and development.
yeah, definitely. Because there is investment both in academic side as well as private sector. Private sector after AI, private sector started moving a lot faster than research sector, and which is kind of keeping a lot of pressure on the schools. And a lot of education has been changed in the schools in recent after AI here. But I think the education that is happening in India is also changing because like previously there was annual AI courses, but now they're more deeper.
Yeah, many courses, many
Yeah. And
many courses. Like I know of my known people whose kids are doing a lot of AI courses, and like MBA in with the specific focus on AI and a lot of things like and 20% of world's AI engineers are from India.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
like there is a lot of talent, but they are more doing work on the apps, using the AI, and creating apps and use cases around
Yeah.
AI. And there is not much happening with the data center capacity because it requires a lot of investment and energy. For a populous country like India, that's a challenge.
Yeah, definitely. And also, like, currently our consumption is around 25 gigawatt hour, and adding just 17 data centers, sorry, adding 23 data centers that are 1 gigawatt hour can literally,
Just shake the whole thing up.
yeah,